Hey Natalie, did your boss tell you to come in tomorrow at the last minute again? My mom texted me and said you had to ask her to pick up Amy for you.
Yeah, I did. Sorry. I feel bad for dropping this on Mom at the last minute. Did she seem upset?
Nah, you know my mom. She's always thrilled to have Amy spend the afternoon with her. Being a grandma is the best thing that's ever happened to her. I am concerned about you though. You've been working an awful lot lately. Are you sure it isn't too much?
I'm really sorry, Jonah. You know how things are these days. It's impossible to get people to work. We're really short-handed, and my boss knows he can count on me, so...
When you originally signed up for this part-time job, you said it was just going to be 2 days a week. But you've gone in 4 days this week and last week.
I know. But we're looking to hire another person, and as soon as we get a decent applicant, my schedule will be a lot lighter again.
Be that as it may, I'm still concerned about you.
Really? What for?
I know you better than anyone, Natalie. You have a really hard time telling people no. I'm concerned that your boss is taking advantage of you. That's all.
No, my boss is a great guy. He'd never take advantage of me. We're short-handed and busy. It's that simple. And for the record, I have turned him down a few times.
Oh, really? Alright then, if you say so. But you do have a point. Everyone is short-handed these days.
Right? Everyone on the street has a help wanted sign in the window. But there are benefits to that. They're so desperate to have people that they're super lenient about taking time off. They tell me that if something ever happens where I need to take care of Amy or something, that I can cancel my shift whenever I want. It's a great place to work.
I'm really glad to hear that. But still, don't overdo it, okay? Remember, we can live on my income alone with no issues. If it were up to me, I'd rather you spend as much time with Amy as possible.
Me too. But like I said, the second we find another person, I'll be a lot less busy. I've been thinking about taking your mom out to dinner for taking care of Amy so often lately.
I don't think you need to do that. Just having Amy over is enough of a present for her.
Still, I really do want to do something to say thanks.
Yeah, that would be a nice thing to do. Your idea of taking her out to dinner sounds good. We can all go together.
That would be awesome. There's a new Korean barbecue restaurant in town that I've been dying to go to. It's a little pricey, but it looks delicious.
Works for me. I love meat. Gotta go. My boss is calling me.
Okay, see you later. I'll do my best to make sure I get home before Amy gets out of daycare.
Thanks for all you do, Natalie.
I'm just doing what any mother would do for her husband and child. Thanks for all of your hard work too, Jonah. Hey, Jonah, do you have a minute? I wanted to ask you something.
Sure, babe. What's up?
I was thinking about going to stay at my mom's house next weekend.
Okay, that sounds fine to me. We haven't been over to see her for a while. I'm sure she'd love to see Amy.
No. I don't mean all of us. I'd like to go by myself, actually.
You want to go alone? Why's that? Something wrong?
You remember I told you one of my relatives passed away recently, right? They were single and didn't have any kids. So my mom and her siblings were asked to help take care of his things. You know, straighten up his house, find all the things that have value, throw the rest away, that sort of thing.
Oof. That sounds like a pain and a half. How about I come along to help out?
But who's gonna look after Amy?
Right. Meh, she could come along with us. It's probably gonna be some heavy lifting to do. Wouldn't it be better to have a man around to help?
My uncles are coming, so we'll be fine. Plus, I don't want Amy to have to spend the entire weekend playing by herself while we clean up an old, dirty house. The only other option would be to leave her with your mom or my mom, but my mom's gonna be busy with cleaning, and I'd feel terrible leaving Amy with your mother for an entire weekend.
Yeah, I guess you're right. An afternoon is one thing, but it'll be a lot of work to watch over Amy for 2 whole days. Okay, I'll stay here with Amy then.
Thank you so much, Jonah.
Did you clear that with your boss? Thought I remembered you saying that he might be asking to come in on weekends for the next month or so.
I talked to him and he said that I don't need to worry about coming in anymore.
Oh, okay. Did he finally hire another person then?
Yep. He said that after next weekend, my schedule is going to go back to normal. No more last-minute shifts for me.
That's great. Amy's gonna be thrilled to hear that.
Really? Why's that?
Well, I haven't told you this before, but she's been acting really sad lately when she goes to my mom's house. Mom told me that the other day, Amy told her, Mommy's leaving me all alone.
Wow. I have no idea why she'd say something so dramatic. I mean, she's only going over to your mom's house a couple of times a week, right? And only for a few hours at a time.
Well, apparently that's enough to make her feel sad. I remember back when she was 3, she used to start crying her eyes out whenever you left the room. I guess she has a stronger attachment to you than you know.
Yeah, I suppose you're right. But she's not 3 anymore. She's already 5 years old. Plus, she's going to daycare 5 days a week. I think it's about time she grew up a little bit and started getting more independent, don't you?
You might say she's already 5 years old, but looking at it another way, you could also say she's only 5 years old. I would say she's at just about an appropriate level of independent for her age. Honestly, I'd be worried if she was any more independent than she already is. The last thing I need is for her to all of a sudden run off while we're at the store or something. That might give me a heart attack.
Well, I don't know. Maybe there's something to that.
I really think you've been working too much, Natalie. If you don't mind me saying, you've been a bit harsh on Amy these days. You're pretty quick to get on her case about things that I don't see as all that big of a deal.
You think so? I'm sorry, Jonah. I've been so busy at work, and I don't know what it is, but it feels like Amy won't listen to a word I say anymore. I guess maybe I've been kind of short-tempered. I'll be more careful from now on.
Please don't feel like I'm criticizing you, Natalie. You're a great mom. I know you love Amy a lot. I'm partially at fault too. I've been too busy with my own job to help out much around the house lately. You know what? I'd say a nice relaxing weekend at your mom's house might just be what the doctor ordered. Why not make it a long weekend for yourself? You can stay a few extra days. Take some time off to forget about all your responsibilities at home and relax.
Are you sure that's okay, Jonah?
Sure, I'm sure. You're gonna be cleaning up at your relative's house on Saturday and Sunday, right? You can leave everything here to me. Take some time for yourself for a change.
Wow, I really appreciate this. You have no idea how much it means to me. You already do so much for me.
Nah, I can always do a little more. You're my wife after all. And even after next weekend, if there's ever a time when you're overwhelmed and want to rest, you let me know, okay?
Thanks, Jonah. I might just take you up on that.
Good afternoon, Jonah.
Hey there, Mom. It's nice to hear from you. How have you been?
I've been doing just fine, dear. Thank you for asking. Now, if you don't mind, I had a request to make of you. Did you kids have any plans to go anywhere next weekend?
Are you asking about the cleanup thing you guys are doing?
The cleanup thing? What are you referring to?
Natalie told me all about it. She said a relative of yours had passed away recently, and you and your siblings were going to go and clean up their house next weekend.
I'm sorry, dear, but I'm afraid I have no idea what you're talking about.
Wait, really? That's weird. Natalie told me she was planning on heading over to your place next weekend to help you out with that.
Next weekend?
That's right.
Odd indeed. When I talked to my daughter about her plans for next weekend, she had told me that she hadn't made any plans yet.
Really?
Yes, Jonah. That's why I was planning on going to visit you myself, if you would allow me to intrude. I was hoping to make it a surprise for Natalie and Amy. I'd love to see the look on Amy's face when she walks in the door, and her grandmother was standing there to meet her.
Oh man, I'm sure Amy would have loved that.
But this is an interesting situation now, isn't it?
Yeah, you can say that again.
Tell me, Jonah, have you noticed anything out of the ordinary in Natalie's behavior recently?
Well, I have noticed that she seems kind of on edge around the house.
Is there anything else?
I'm trying to think. I guess the only other thing might be that she's taken a lot more shifts at her part-time job lately.
Jonah, dear, as much as I hate to say this about my own daughter, you might want to look into what she's been up to.
What do you mean?
I think you should consider hiring a private detective.
Hold on. So you're saying I should have her followed? Like, to see if she's having an affair? I can't believe that Natalie would ever do that to me.
I don't want to believe that my daughter would be a cheater either. And that's why I think it would be best to look into her. It's the only way to be sure one way or the other.
I don't suppose asking her directly is an option.
Jonah, my boy, you've been married this long and you still don't understand women? There's not a chance she would admit to it.
It's just, I can't imagine Natalie cheating on me. I don't even want to consider that possibility.
I know, but look at the facts. We know for sure that Natalie is lying about her plans for next weekend. She's not coming to my house. Where do you suppose she's going?
Right.
And if you look into her and find she's not being unfaithful, then that would reassure you, wouldn't it?
I guess so.
I'll tell you what. You can leave it to me. I'll make all the necessary arrangements. You can just continue to act normally around her for now.
Alright, but before you do that, can I check with Natalie one more time about her plans for next weekend?
Of course, go right ahead. I know you might be in for some hard times ahead, but you'll have to be strong. For your sake and Amy's. Understand?
Hey, Natalie. I wanted to ask you about next weekend. You're still planning on staying at your mom's house, right?
Yep. We're still planning that big cleanup.
And you're going to take a few extra days to relax if I recall correctly. So you'll be at your mom's house for 5 days, is that right?
Yeah, that's what we talked about. Is something wrong?
Nah, nothing's wrong. I was just trying to remember how long you'd be gone.
Is 5 days too much? Should I cut it down to 3 or 4?
I was just thinking, if the cleanup thing went quicker than you expected, why not go on a little trip? You've been working so hard lately. You really deserve a break.
What, you mean by myself?
You don't have to go alone. You can go with a friend or something. Whatever you want to do is fine with me. It's been a while since you've seen your friends, hasn't it? Wouldn't you like to have some time with your friends?
What's brought this on all of a sudden?
I felt like maybe you've been taking out too much between Amy, the housework, and your part-time job.
I'm fine, really. Just the 5 days with my mom will be more than enough of a break for me, honest.
Really? Okay, that's what you say. But remember, whenever you want to take a trip or take a day off or anything, you can feel free to let me know and we'll work it out somehow.
Jonah, you're already doing more than enough around the house. You don't need to worry about me so much. In fact, I should be the one telling you to take some time off.
Thanks, babe. And, Natalie?
Yeah?
I love you.
How are things over there, Jonah?
Same old, same old. Nothing to report. How about you? You're coming back the day after tomorrow, right? Is the cleanup finished, or...?
Yeah, about that.
Uh-oh. That doesn't sound very good.
I'm sorry, Jonah, but I'm gonna have to stay over here for a while longer. The cleanup is all finished. That's not an issue anymore. It's my mom. Right when we were finishing up, she had a nasty fall and hurt her leg pretty bad. I'd like to be with her while she recovers to help take care of her.
Oh no. Is your mom okay?
She cut herself on an old piece of metal, and it looks like she might have an infection. She's had a bit of a fever ever since. I just want to stay here for the next few days to see how she does. Probably 3 days max.
Wow. I'm sorry to hear that.
I'm really sorry, Jonah. Are you all right looking after Amy for a few more days? I'll be sure I'll be home sometime later this week when my mom gets better.
I don't know. She seems pretty fine to me right now. Though she might want to be careful. If she starts laughing any harder, she might give herself a heart attack.
What?
You really are something else, Natalie. I was an idiot for ever believing you.
Jonah, what are you talking about? My mom's laughing.
Hello, Natalie. You were saying I hurt my leg? That's odd. It doesn't hurt at all right now.
Mom? Is that you?
It is indeed. I've been staying here this entire weekend.
No. This is some kind of prank, right?
If this were a prank, it's an awfully dull one, wouldn't you say?
But you said you were going to be home all weekend. I know that's you, Jonah. You're just pretending to be my mom.
I was hoping to surprise you and Amy, so Jonah was the only person who I told I was coming.
So, Jonah knew all along? He knew that I wasn't at your house?
He's known for some time now. You've done such an awful, stupid thing, Natalie. Jonah had faith in you up to the very end, you know. He thought for sure there must be some other explanation, like that you were secretly going on a trip with your friends.
But that is what I'm doing. I decided to go to a beach house with my friends for a few days.
Silence. We know exactly what you're doing, Natalie. I hired a private detective to track your movements.
You didn't.
I did. It's not like you'd spill the beans if I asked you directly. I knew I would need hard evidence in the event my suspicions proved correct. So there's no point in hiding anything anymore. We know where you are, we know who you're with, and we know what you're doing.
I'm sorry.
Poor Jonah isn't in any condition to have a conversation with you right now. We'll contact you again tomorrow. Until then, I suggest you do some soul searching. Think long and hard about what you've done.
Jonah, please, I'm begging you. Can't we talk about this? One more time.
We have nothing more to talk about. We already decided on divorce yesterday. My parents and your mom are all on the same page about this.
But what about what I want? I don't want to get divorced.
Well then, that's just too bad now, isn't it? The fact that you were with your boyfriend last weekend wasn't the only thing the private detective told us about. You were lying about all those extra shifts at your part-time job too. You left Amy with my mom so you could go and see your boyfriend. But that's not even the worst thing. No, what takes the cake by far is that there were even times when you left Amy all by herself to go see your boyfriend.
You don't have any proof of that. You only assumed that when Amy told you that I was leaving her all alone. She's only 5. You can't read that much into things she says.
I went and had a talk with your boyfriend today.
You did? What did he say?
He said that the two of you were working together to destroy evidence. Things like deleting texts from your phone to keeping anyone else from reading them.
That isn't true. He might have done that on his own, but I never told him to do that.
Is that so? Then would you mind explaining to me why your entire text history of him was deleted from your phone? Doesn't matter though. We had him restore the texts.
You can do that?
We saw that there were multiple occasions on days when Amy didn't have school, or you couldn't leave her with my mom that you left her home alone to see him. They're all time-stamped, so we know exactly when you guys met up.
This cannot be happening. You must have threatened him into doing that. There's no other way.
Did you really expect loyalty from a man who was willing to have an affair with you? It didn't take much convincing to get him to cooperate with us.
So he really showed you our text?
Yep, so we know all about your relationship. Seems like the first time you met up on a dating app to have a little fling. But you gradually started getting serious.
That's not true. I was just having fun, playing a game. You know, like acting in a movie.
Okay, you've lost me there. You're gonna have to explain that one to me.
I never wanted to leave you or Amy. One of my friends showed me the dating app she used, and I got curious.
And then you went from curious to serious?
I never got serious. I'm trying to tell you. I just wanted to have a break from reality. I needed a little excitement in my life. You and Amy were always the most important to me.
You left Amy, a 5-year-old girl, home alone so you could get a little excitement? You disgust me, Natalie.
It was only a few hours, though. I thought she'd be fine. I mean, she's already 5 years old.
No! She is only 5 years old, you psychopath. She's nowhere near old enough to be completely unsupervised for that long. She's big enough to open the door. What if she went outside? There's also a million and one ways she could have hurt herself right at home.
I know. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have done that. I'll never leave Amy alone again. I'll never betray you again.
Either of those things alone are enough for me to consider divorcing you. If you had only cheated on me, then it would have been harder to decide to divorce you. I could have overlooked it, pretended it never happened. But the fact that you left Amy alone in order to betray me? No, there's no coming back after that.
Please, forgive me, Jonah. I'm begging you. Amy is still just a little girl. She'll forget about being left alone soon enough. So that means the only issue is us making amends. We can work it out, can't we?
You think child neglect is okay because she's young enough to not remember it in the future? Good God, Natalie. I'm grateful for everything you've done for Amy and me until now. There's no possible way that I will ever be able to live with you again after this.
No, I don't want to divorce you. If we break up, you're gonna get sole custody of Amy for sure. She's my daughter, though. I can't let you take her away from me. She needs her mother.
She needed you on all those days when you abandoned her in the house by herself. Where were you then? In the arms of another man. And when Amy's loneliness and sadness over being left alone boiled over and caused her to act up, what did you do? You took it all out on her. As if she was the problem. Do you realize how sickening that is? You were yelling at your daughter for the neglect she suffered at your hands.
I am so sorry, Jonah. I'm begging you. Please, give me one more chance. I swear to you I will change. I'll be a brand new woman. I know you probably won't believe me when I tell you this, but I was planning on ending my relationship with him after our time together last weekend. It was gonna be like one last hurrah.
You're right about one thing. I don't believe you when you say that. I'll never be able to trust you again for the rest of my life. And if you can't understand that you are the reason for that, there's no hope for you as a person. You betrayed my trust, abandoned your daughter, and caused immense pain to all the people who loved you the most. You are the one who is responsible for this divorce, and no one else. Thanks to the diligent work of my mother-in-law, Natalie quickly consented to the divorce on my terms. Obviously, I was awarded sole custody of Amy. Natalie maintained until the very end that she was never serious about her boyfriend. She certainly did show moments of extreme disregard for Amy's safety in order to go and have her excitement. But I do believe her when she says that she never wanted to divorce me and leave Amy behind forever. She's now on the hook for monthly child support payments to me. In order to make those payments to support herself, she's currently working as a live-in custodial staff at a hotel on the other side of the state. Part of the reason she left town is, no doubt, the mere fact that she got absolutely nothing in the divorce, leaving her unable to afford a place of her own over here. But I'm sure that a much bigger reason is just the simple fact that too many people around here know about her now. Several of our mutual friends asked me about the divorce, and I wasn't going to lie to them. I was upfront in saying that we divorced because of her infidelity. Word got around fast, so now practically everyone she has ever known in the city knows about everything she did. As for me, now that I have been thrust unceremoniously into the role of a single father raising a daughter, I moved back in with my parents. My parents are being incredibly gracious and doing everything they can to support me through this difficult time. Natalie's mother is also a total saint. She regularly sends Amy gifts and comes by to see her. Despite her daughter's foolish actions, Amy is still her granddaughter after all. But even with all their support, trying to balance work and taking care of a child is absolutely exhausting work. I won't let that stop me, however. For Mom out of the picture, now it's up to me to give my daughter 2 parents' worth of love and affection. As God is my witness, I will never allow Amy to feel the kind of loneliness and helplessness she must have been going through on the days Natalie left her alone.